Welcome to Smut and Sensibility,
a podcast for romance readers and romance writers.
By romance readers and writers.
We are Amber,
Allie,
and Marie,
a group of learned ladies who love talking about the romance genre.
In this podcast, we will talk about our favorite books, writing craft, and how we make room for a creative life in real time.
So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Smut and Sensibility. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today, we have such an exciting episode. We are going to be chatting later with author Sarah Hawley.
Whoop, whoop.
She is the author. Yes. She is the author of the Glimmer Falls series. So The Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. And then the Shards of Magic series, which is Servant of Earth, and then her most recent release, both USA Today bestsellers, Princess of Blood. So we're going to be talking a little bit later with her. But first, let's welcome you to the pod. Amber, hello.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. For a reminder, I'm Amber. I'm a corporate attorney by day and a romance reader and writer by night.
I'm Allie. I'm a doctor, writer, and part-time student studying history at Oxford.
And I'm Marie, and mentally I'm living inside of a Natural Wonders store in the mall in 1997.
That is so specific.
I currently have one brain cell that's like just floating around. Like I think maybe Amber, between the two of us, Amber and I have two. That brought me so much joy. I was more of like a Brookstone girl because I really liked those like shrimp in a glass things that like they never left the glass, and you just sort of, I guess, watched them eat all of the food until there was none left. I guess that was the point. I'm not really 100% sure, but I really wanted one of those.
Yeah.
Did you have one, Amber?
No, but I was just saying, I was an Orange Julius girl at the mall, so we are all over the place. Like every time it was like, Mom, can we get an Orange Julius? Or maybe I'm just hungry right now. I don't know, but this is all very showing our age and the vibes today.
I need to make you guys a Venn diagram of like Natural Wonders girl, Brookstone girl, Orange Julius girl, and then we need to figure out what goes in every little overlapping quadrant. And in the middle,
oh my gosh, that would be really
podcast.
Make that a graphic. I would really like to have that on the TikTok, since I'm of the talk now. So
I'm the TikTok.
I'm the talk of the town.
God, girl. You guys sound the alarms, the horns, the club horn. Pew pew. Allie is on TikTok. We finally got her to take the plunge. Today was the day. We had to take
She's talking.
We needed to hold her
Watch out.
hand a little bit and take a couple deep breaths. But not only did she create her account, but she also created her first post.
I did do that.
So just like be ready for that greatness and give her a follow. Her new information will be in the show notes. So
it'll be linked down below. But yes, so now that we're all of the internet,
I'm just mentally holding a rain stick and I'm just tilting it back and forth.
You just sound so old right now, Allie. The TikTok, the internet.
TikTok.
I am in the place where all the people are.
What was it Carly said? Don't worry, I'm just booming.
I'm just booming. I'm just
booming.
booming. We're booming
That's
a little bit.
That's how I feel too. But yeah, so we're gonna get into Book Nook now.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows where we're going?
Also, look at this.
She's so gorgeous.
Amber and I went a little crazy in the Canva store where I made our logo, and we got ourselves a bunch of our own merch. So just
you make it sound like we bought a crazy amount. It's just a few.
No, we didn't. We bought
we're
like
also
a
daydreaming for like the future if anybody would want merch, or maybe just our family. We also
have I think this is still my favorite thing, which is the double-sided bookmark with like our QR code, and it's really cute. But anyway, back to Book Nook. I swear I'm going to introduce it this time. So we are going to get into our regularly scheduled Book Nook. I guess I'll start. I read The RAKESS by Scarlett Peckham, which is the first in her Society of Sirens series. And this is historical, and I love historical so much. This is one of the historicals that have more of a, I don't want to say contemporary because it's really not, it's true to the time, but I think that the like equality and like social justice is very like upfront, and I really liked it. This book was actually like dedicated, I think, to Mary Wollstonecraft, and just talking a lot about women and marriage and societal expectations and putting radical creative work out into the world and how that is received, and essentially finding your people despite the challenges that can cause. So this series is fun because there's 3 books, and they are like libertine ladies, and they say that they are determined to weaponize their scandalous reputations to fight for justice and the love that they deserve.
I love them already.
The heroine, Sarah,
ladies.
I know, right? The heroine, Serafina Arden, she calls herself the RAKESS, and she's like on she's on posters, but she's on a quest for women's rights, and she really wants to raise funds for this women's rights cause. And so she basically plans to publish a set of very scandalous memoirs, basically exposing a powerful man who basically like ruined her. And that obviously leads to some complications, especially with returning to her hometown and her neighbor who is fixing up a crumbling estate. And Adam Anderson is a widowed Scottish architect with 2 young children, and he is trying to get a commission in London and kind of protect and build his business so that he can survive himself. And they have an amorous encounter, but of course, you know, he could never fall for Serafina. But he finds himself entangled with her for like a 1 month, no strings, no future. We love that setup, right? Like it's just as good as the like, we just got to get it out of our systems. Well, I love a like no feelings, you know, just let's just bang it out for a month, and definitely nothing is going to happen at all ever.
Those silly idiots.
And I'm going to be just fine, right?
They just think it's going to work, and you just know you're like, oh, it's going to crash and burn, and then you
do you know
just want to
how
watch
much
the
more
fire.
of your book is left? This is not going to work.
What?
Do the characters know how much of their own book is left?
Oh, yes. I was like, me? I was like, what?
No.
Like
I got you, Marie.
There's
I was
one brain
like,
cell
yeah.
just sort of like, it's like just banging into like each side of my brain.
Imagine that you have characters that are banging it out in Act 1, and then the rest of the book is just like, and then they were fine, and they went for a walk.
And they were puzzling.
And the rest of it is just like pictures of the author's cat.
Kelly doesn't even know what to say. No, I don't.
I'm just saying. It's a power move. Are you okay?
It's fine until Allie's. No, I'm thinking, no, I have the church giggles because Allie is laughing.
Sleepover giggles, as all heroes and heroines do. They go on their fling and they have their dalliance. And unfortunately, some painful secrets come to light that, of course, make it so that they cannot be together and could never be again. But ultimately, when Serafina discovers that Adam's future depends on the man that she's about to destroy, she has to decide what the hell she is going to do about that. So also, the content warning, there is like some alcohol use in this story. And so there is kind of an alcohol use / alcohol dependence with the heroine. That's sort of how she escapes. She had a very traumatic encounter with the man that she's ultimately trying to ruin with her memoirs. So that is just a little content warning. And there's also like pregnancy and things like that. So, but overall, it's a really good book. I think it's a great start to the series, and I'm currently reading the second one. And yeah, overall, I would recommend. It's another great historical, which I'm going to proselytize historical romance because they're good and you should read them.
That sounds amazing. I think there's a lot of intrigue going on. As I said earlier, the whole ladies, the libertine ladies, I'm in love with them from the get-go.
I've started The Boyfriend Project. It's by Farrah Rochon, and I'm really enjoying it. I started the audiobook, and the setup essentially is our main character finds out that she is accidentally dating the same guy as 3 other women. They all show up at the sushi date of one of the women and confront the guy in just the funniest, like classy, elegant way. And because they've all been duped by the same ding dong, they immediately become friends, and they agree to essentially have this pact to like not date, and like we're going to heal ourselves, we're going to be friends. And then of course she meets somebody. I love the setup. I love like girlhood and friendship and just this instant energy of we would really get along. Look at us. We're going to be friends. And then the guy just kind of being like what? And It just lovely, like voicey and fun, and I'm really, really enjoying it.
It's giving. Have you ever seen the movie The Other Woman? It has Cameron Diaz, Kate Upton, and
I haven't, but I have. Yeah, I know of it. Yeah.
Leslie Mann. It's kind of like a similar setup where he's seeing all three of them separately. He's married to one, and then the other two, but they all don't know about each other. But when they find out, it's kind of the same thing. Like they're upset, they scheme, but then they become the best of friends. Like we're all great. And it's just like a very sisterhood woman. The bad guy's going to get what's coming to him. And it's a very satisfying ending. So that sounds lovely.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
been really fun. And I kind of just picked it up on a whim. I was like, I want something that's just fun and cool and nice, and it's just a fun romp so far. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm enjoying it tremendously. And I don't know, maybe I'll report back at my next book nook, or maybe it will be something else. But either way, I would check it out. It's a good one.
That sounds
love
great.
It, love it. I suppose it's my turn now, huh?
Yeah.
Bringing up the rear.
Bring
Everybody
up
else is
the
doing it.
caboose. Choo choo.
If all your friends did book nook, wouldn't you?
I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
I listened to When Gracie Met the Grump by Mariana Zapata. Have you guys read any of her stuff?
I like her.
She's great.
She's known as the
She's
queen of
great.
slow burn. And it was so good. And this was duet narration by Callie Dalton and Connor Cray. So it's just like
I love Callie
some
Dalton.
of my favorite narrators. It was so delightful. I'm just going to read you the quick summary from the Audible description because it's short, but it's just like so intriguing from the get-go. All the things that could have landed in her yard, it had to be him. For most people, finding a half-naked super being in their yard might be a dream come true. Unfortunately, for Gracie Castro, it's the exact opposite, especially when he's grouchy, rude, and shows no signs of leaving anytime soon. But when a hero of mankind needs you, you do what you have to, even if it compromises everything you know and totally changes your life. What a great premise. Like,
That
a
sounds
naked
awesome.
superhero falls in your yard. What do you do?
It's a great question.
Right. So like it's just like almost a fun writing prompt. And
Mhm.
I really liked it. It didn't disappoint. There's a lot of suspense and action in the first half of the book, so I don't want to go into too much detail because that's kind of the fun of like what's going to happen, who done it, who are these people. But again, when she finds, they call him the Defender, the superhero, that she kind of feels this obligation to save him even if it puts herself at risk because she's kind of living off the lam. She's on the run. She's hiding from something, which again, we don't want to do any spoilers. But yeah, it was a fun kind of take on if Superman had an extended family and they were like known to save the world and like had their own council. That's kind of what's happening in the world. Or like the Incredibles, you know, like everybody knows they're superheroes and we all cheer for them. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. It has funny banter. It has some heartwarming moments. And he really is a grump. Like it's a grump to the extreme. But not in like a complete asshole way. Like that's part of the character arc, right? And like all the adventures that they're having to go on and push together. So I would highly recommend this book. And then in particular, the audiobook was real nice.
Cute.
Awesome.
I will check that out.
Yeah,
That sounds really fun.
cute. So yeah, that's our book nook for this week. We'll make sure to link everything in our storefront for the bookstore, but also in the links below.
Yes, absolutely.
So today we are so excited to have romance and fantasy author Sarah Hawley on our podcast.
Yes.
Sarah is the incredible USA Today best-selling author of Servant of Earth in the Shards of Magic series and the Glimmer Falls series, which includes A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, and A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire.
You're
We
so
have covered
talented.
so many varieties of the beloved undead. And we love that for you.
I will not rest until I've done them all.
All of them. Yes.
Pokemon,
Yeah,
collect them
definitely.
all.
I mean, it's a great dress for the job you want. I don't know
That's
where I was
right.
going with that.
That's okay.
I don't know. Me coming out of a coffin. Hi. Her recent release and the focus of this episode is Princess of Blood. It's her second book in the Shards of Magic series. It's incredible. We love it.
We do.
Sarah has an MA in archaeology and has excavated at an Inca site in Chile, a Bronze Age palace in Turkey, and a medieval abbey in England, which is so fucking cool.
So
When not dreaming up whimsical love stories, she could be found reading, dancing, or cuddling her two cats. So without further ado, Sarah, welcome to the pod. Thank you so
Yay,
much
Sarah.
for coming and chatting with us today.
Thank
you
We're
for
glad
having
to have you.
I am so excited. Like I'm staying up late. I'm like we're not getting that close to my bedtime, but I'm just gonna say like I was flagging, but now I feel like my spirits are rejuvenated and like I'm ready to go.
Excellent.
Brie does that
Well,
to you. You know, she gets
whenever
you
we're
feeling
dealing with the paranormal, we want to rejuvenate our spirits.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know.
Bring back the dead.
Yes, bring them back, warm them up.
That'll be my next rom-com. We'll be rejuvenating the spirits.
Please.
Yeah, I actually want to read that. So
Well,
Princess
I mean,
of Blood.
I do have good news.
Spoilers.
The rest.
I do have
Tell us the
more.
news.
I do have more paranormal rom-coms coming, and this one has a ghost element. So.
Oh my God! Thank God. Oh, I'm so
God.
excited.
I'm elated. My body is ready.
Oh God, this
Guys,
is
I
so
need a
unhinged
drink.
already.
I need a drink.
This might need to be our episode after dark. It is getting
Yeah.
close to Sarah's bedtime.
It is.
So.
This
Yeah.
is smut and sensibility after dark. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've got a frisky little kombucha.
Yes.
Okay. So Princess of Blood.
Yes.
It's book 2, most recent release in the Shards of Magic series.
True.
I just want to read the blurb
Okay, and
because I can.
spoilers. We should warn because it will tell you what happened at the end of book 1.
Oh yeah.
So,
yes.
So
if
if
you
you
don't
haven't,
know-
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
if you
and
haven't
book 1's
read
Leave.
Servant of Earth, if you haven't read Servant of Earth, go read it.
Like there's
Yeah,
no
go
way
read
to
it.
have
Yes.
this
We'll
episode
still be here.
free.
Also,
We will
make
still
sure
be
you
here.
have time because let me tell you, if you don't have the time, you will stay up until wee hours of the morning.
You will do that.
finishing these bad boys
Yes.
and being
100%.
naughty. So just a little warning there. Okay, continue, Marie.
All right, so the blurb. Once a servant, now a princess, spoilers. A young woman thrust into power challenges everything about the underground Fey realm. Kenna Heron is still reeling from her lover's betrayal and the threat of an impending war. With only her 2 closest and most powerless friends by her side, she must navigate the politics of Mistay while coming to terms with her new identity as not just Fey, but a princess of her own house. With the king dead, 3 candidates are vying for the right to wear the crown next. A princess who claims the throne as her birthright and 2 rebel princes, both of whom are depending on the support of Bloodhouse to break the stalemate between them. Old loyalties fray as new dangerous alliances form, and Kenna finds herself caught in a web of violence, deceit, and unexpected passion. Kenna has the power to shape Mistay's future, but someone's willing to kill to make sure she never gets the chance.
Dun dun dun.
Oh my god.
I like
Incredible.
Someone's ready to kill. It's like literally all of them are like willing.
All of them.
Literally.
You
everyone.
put us through the ringer, Sarah.
You did this. It did go down in this book, I will say.
Mhm. Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but yeah.
Yes. So how did you come up with this idea for this particular series? What was sort of your spark of inspiration initially behind it? And I guess secondary to that is, did you have a sense of the full scope of what was going to happen in this, or did this evolve as you were writing it?
Yeah. So this is a weird story because I wrote this a long time ago. I wrote Servant of Earth in 2017. And it did not sell at the time. And so I thought it was like one of these dead projects that'll just never come back. And so I pivoted, I wrote some other things, and then I started writing the rom-coms, and then Romantasy's having a moment. And so we like resurrected this old project. So it's kind of funny reconstructing the history of it because I do remember where the first inspiration came from, which is going to be another odd story. It just sort of, I knew I wanted to write about the Fae, and I was just sort of thinking like, what would be a good story? And the phrase "the Queen of the Nasties" popped into my head, and it was just that. And so I was like, okay, who is that? Who is the Queen of the Nasties? And this is how I get a lot of my book ideas: is I'll just have like a couple of words or a character name or something, and I just won't be able to stop thinking about it until I figure out like who this person is and what the story is. So that actually came first, being like, well, the Nasties are some kind of dark Fae, and then I sort of came up with the world from there, the different tiers of Fae and the different powers, and then sort of the story. It kind of poured out of me. It's like I outlined it in a week, and then I wrote it in a month and a half, and then it was just like,
Wow.
I've never
Talk about
experienced.
accelerated.
I know I've never experienced something like that ever before or since.
Miracle baby.
And so I did, and then that didn't sell. So I was like, okay, well, I'm like, that poor project, goodbye. And then so revisiting it for Princess of Blood, writing the sequel all these years later after having, pivoted and done comedy and all of this and trying to remember what my original vision was.
Right.
And I do think the very ending of the third book is pretty much identical to what I had envisioned. But then actually a lot, and then there's some milestones on the way. So like there's there's a pivotal sparring scene in this one. That was always like part of the original plan. And then like there's pieces of it that are definitely still there, but some of the things like the Accord and Imogen did not exist in the first of the book. There was like Osric had a kid, like there was all this stuff that like did not make it into this version, and then all these new characters came out. So yeah, that was very interesting. And I like this version better, I think, than my original.
Oh, interesting.
But like the second book was always going to be the hardest either way, because I knew it was going to be a trilogy, and I knew the start and I knew the end, and then the middle is a lot of like, I don't know, let's figure it out.
Stay with me, I promise. It's getting good.
Right.
Like, which is how I feel drafting any book, is that I always know how it's going to start, I always know how it's end, and then the middle is just suffering until I figure out what the middle is supposed to look like.
Valid.
And so this was like on a trilogy level, where it was like, I don't know, we'll figure it out.
It's going to come to me, I hope.
You're like, this whole book was a question mark because it's the middle book.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. And so I outlined it. Well, I didn't outline it. That was the problem. I'm going to learn how to be an outliner. This is like my resolution. I'm going to figure out how to be an outliner.
Watch out 2026.
Watch out.
Yeah. Coming for you.
Coming hot.
So this one, like I tend to outline my books, like while I'm in the middle of them, I basically say things that have already happened and things that need to happen going forward. And then I put them on sticky notes. Behind me, there's a door full of sticky notes. And that's a future project.
So close, but so far away.
I know you can't.
I know that last one says big musical number.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty sure.
Clown,
exactly what
clown
it is.
shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
I think the thing that I feel like that story just like really proves is like no creative work is wasted. You know, you did this and you're like, this is dead. And it's definitely not. And Servant of Earth was a USA Today bestseller. And like we've got the whole series coming, and no creative work is wasted for sure.
Yeah. And this was kind of also the first, because I had finished a book before this, but like it was not a good book. Like all the things I'd been trying. And so this was the first time I wrote a book, and I was like, damn, like that's a book. And this was the first book I ever queried. And so it was like, I queried it and I got an agent, and it was the proof of concept that I could actually do this. Even if it had never resurrected from the dead, it taught me how to finish things. And then it also taught me rejection in a way that I think has been really important for my career, because so much of being an author is rejection. I feel like you see the lightning strike stories where, and even those, like there's tons of work that goes into it before lightning strikes. But I think it's easy to assume that like before your book published, like you were just traipsing along in a field of wildflowers, and then someone gave you a book deal, and then like bam, all of a sudden you're a bestseller. And the truth is that there's a huge amount of work and a huge amount of rejection, like starting at the querying phase professionally, just like okay, like here, strangers, like please break my heart. Over and over.
And
Judge my
over
worth.
again.
Yeah. That's what it
and
feels
I felt like Servant of Earth dying so early in my career. Like I didn't know that could happen. Like I was very naive at that point. I was like, well, you got an agent. Like surely now you get a book deal. And I was like, oh no, that's not how it works. They can actually still say no. So
this is the pits.
Yeah. And I remember just lying in bed, just utterly heartbroken. So I was like, Kenna's never going to get her ending. Like I'm never going to be able to write this. Like it was very dramatic. And I was like, my characters will never be happy. No, but like it taught me a lot about getting rejected and continuing to write, because now like I've written other projects that also died. So it's like it's just a skill. You just have to learn how to keep going even when people tell you no. And then sometimes you'll be lucky and it'll come back around. And it did in this case, which was wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that lesson of perseverance, of that, you know, like you said, you have to keep going, and it's not always because you're not a good writer or the story isn't good. There's so many factors. It's not in front of the right eyes, or you don't know the right people, or it's not the right time in the market, right? Things change so frequently. So I think that's just such a lovely reminder of, you know, you got to keep going. And then also, like you said, rejection, it sucks, but like, it's almost part of the process, right? Like, welcome to the club. Like it sucks to be here, but this is part of getting there. So like, it's also a stepping stone.
Yeah. And I think I'm much better equipped psychologically to handle publishing now than I would have been at the time. Like if I had just immediately gone and like had something published right away, I think there's a lot you just learn getting older, and there's a lot you learn through the process of persevering and seeing your friends succeed and seeing your friends fail. And so and then I got to make it better because I revisited it, and I'm definitely like a better writer now than I was. And so getting the chance to go back and like add some chapters and change some of the prose was good too. So overall, it was always going to happen this way, and it should have happened this way. And even if I was not pleased about this in 2017, I am pleased about it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
I love
really
that
encouraging. That's really encouraging.
I know. I
that
thought
you're
the same
doing
thing. I'm
that.
like, you need to store that soundbite away
Mhm.
on the days that you feel like, we all have those down days and the self-doubt, and be like, go back to what
Definitely.
Sarah said,
Yeah.
and she has lots of wisdom.
So much wisdom.
Listen to her.
Always
So
do.
much
She
wisdom.
knows what she's doing. If not, she would
Yeah.
yell at you. She would be like, Amber, I'm gonna kick your ass. Stop that nonsense. Get up and just keep going. Trudge along. So Shards of Magic is your romantasy compared to the Glimmer Falls series. How did it feel switching from writing the paranormal rom-com to this romantasy? Because they're definitely different genres and vibes.
It is interesting because they're both things I enjoy reading, and they're both things I enjoy writing. I will say switching off between them is very tonally jarring.
Mhm.
So it's like I would because I do have more things coming, and so it's like I would be switching off between writing these horrible, like very serious, bloody books, and then like it's a comedy, and then you're drafting your new book, and then edits come back on something, and so it's like you're constantly trying to switch the brain, and it usually takes a little bit to get back into the voice. I think I'll be reading it, and then you sort of pick up the flow again, and you're like, okay, like I can get back into this world. I do like writing both. I enjoy it. It's just, I don't know, just different parts of my personality. It's nice having worlds where nothing bad happens, and it's nice having worlds where only bad things happen. Like you get to explore different parts of your psyche. So yeah, it's been good.
And I really do feel like in this series, like you did such a good job being like, let me make everyone's lives worse. Like you don't think it could get worse, and then you made it worse. And you did a really good job with that.
You gave us a little glimmer of hope, and then something over here that you weren't even worried about came in, and you were like, what?
And you're like, oh, fuck.
The
Okay,
fuck?
great. How are they going to get out of this? We'll talk about what you did to us at the end of Princess of Blood. We'll get to that in a little bit, okay? But I do feel like fantasy in particular, like it's like obviously like romantasy is like having a moment, as you said, but tonally so different. Really, I think only fantasy can allow you to like do what you did to us at the end of Princess of Blood, which by the way, I was driving to work when I was listening to it. I did the audio for both. Mia Hutchison-Shaw is, I mean, she's amazing.
Lovely.
Her performance was fantastic. If you have not listened to her, like she should absolutely be added to your list of like, I like her voice, I want to listen to this book, like, absolutely. And she did such a good job with the performance. But I was listening to this at like 5:30 in the morning. I have like about a 30-minute drive to work. It's usually pretty chill. Like I'm going through like the farms, and I've got my tea latte, and it's dark. My heart was racing, and my jaw was like hanging open, and I got to work and I was like, I feel like I chugged like 3 Red Bulls in the car. I had like so much like adrenaline, and it was intense.
In the best way. I finished
in the
before
best
Allie
way,
did.
like it.
And I
it
was
absolutely
waiting for her
delivered.
to like reach out to me, because I'm like waiting for her to freak out with me, because it was just, I needed someone to talk to.
Yeah, she was like, please tell me when you get to this chapter, because we got to
I
talk.
need a support
and I was
group.
like, okay, I definitely will. And I was just like, oh my God, I feel like I did a workout this morning. My heart's still racing. It was so good.
I know the ending was a lot. I've been feeling bad because apparently a lot of people thought this was a duology.
That's rough.
No, it's not, right? No.
Oh,
They
not
read
at
it and they're
all.
like, what? And I'm like, no, it was a trilogy.
No. Stay with me. Oh my God.
But wait,
And the other one's coming soonish. We don't know, but like,
Yeah,
stay
next
with
fall.
me.
Yeah, it's already
Woohoo!
written. Yes. It's already
thank
written. Like I'm gonna be getting edits on it soon. So like the
Exciting. Okay.
story's complete. Everything's gonna be well, I was gonna say everything's gonna be okay. But like in terms of getting
Is
the
it
book in your
though?
hands, everything's gonna be
Eventually.
okay.
Some things will be okay.
Some things will be
Do you have a title in mind for it? You probably can't say.
Yes, it's not officially announced yet, so
Okay.
I can't tell you.
That's exciting. That
word
like,
of is
there.
in the title.
Ooh, you heard it here
first.
first. Exclusive
gosh, wow.
of is in
Yes.
the
My
title.
guess, because I'm like, okay, we have Servant
We
of
can
Earth,
guess.
we have
Yeah.
Princess of Blood.
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm
you gotta
like,
guess.
I was like, what about like Queen of Mistday or like Ruler of Mistday? Because
Pretty
I'm just like, I am optimistic. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then the other thing is that everyone complained that Princess of Blood was a spoiler. So I will tell you the third book's title is not a spoiler.
Oh, well.
Mm.
So yeah.
Well, I mean,
I
but
like
also
it.
like, it's also kind of part of the genre too, like that she would, she would ascend. We
Like
knew.
the normal, she's not gonna stay a servant forever. Like
Yeah,
that's
like
No, yeah.
generally how these things work.
How
And
this
I just thought
works.
the title was awesome. So then everyone's like, "Why did you make this decision to have a spoiler?" I was like, "I don't know. It sounded cool."
It does
See,
sound
then you can
cool.
just like mad flex on everyone and make book 3 Servant of Earth 2 Talladega Nights.
Yes, that'd be
Just
amazing.
like-
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
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 Mistday Drift.
Blue
And
Like,
actually,
Steel.
2 Servant, 2 Earth.
well, my first idea for it that we ended up not doing was spoilers for the ending of Princess of Blood. Wait, can I say that? Can I do spoilers for the ending?
Yes.
It is
I
your book.
think so.
You can
We
do
told
whatever
people
the
we were
fuck you
talking
want.
about it. So
I
yeah, let's do it.
I was going to call it Prisoner of Light, but then that just felt,
Oh, okay.
that was like way too spoilery. So that's not
Yeah.
that's not what it is anymore.
Yeah.
And that would have been
That
a
makes
bummer of a
sense.
title to conclude on, you know?
Yeah.
It did because it gives you, I will say Princess of Blood, like as far as the title, it does give you kind of something to look forward to because she's a servant, and she's human and she's, anything close to equal. And then you're like, okay, girl, glow up.
Yeah.
She's Princess of Blood and
Got a promotion.
she got a promotion. And so like you got to bring us up before you bring us down at the end of this book.
Mhm.
Yes. Before I just break.
Why am I
forward.
picturing that as like a LinkedIn update? Like,
Oh my God.
Promotion, lateral department
Congratulate
move.
Kenna on her new position.
on her promotion.
Not only
Oh my
for
God,
promotion,
and
but in a new department. Everyone
Yes.
congratulate her.
It's like
Oh
I never
God.
go on LinkedIn. Every time I go on LinkedIn, it's like people I see LinkedIn influencers, and I can't imagine a sadder
know,
thing.
I can't take it seriously.
can't-
Like
I
5
don't understand
paragraphs about, like,
influencing on
things we
LinkedIn. I
learned.
don't.
Yeah.
It feels too like late stage capitalism. Like
Mhm.
I feel like everybody wrote those things with ChatGPT, and I'm like, there's too many emojis. I was like, I can't. Yeah, I also.
Yeah.
It's like I
can't
was
do
at,
that.
There's a
the
certain-
copier and it jammed, and like let me tell you the 3 lessons this taught me about
Yup.
corporate resilience.
Or it's always like, my kid was riding his bike and he fell down and skinned his knee. And that reminded me to stay on the bleeding edge of innovation. And I'm just like,
This is so
No, it
grasping
didn't.
for straws. This
what
is
the
no
heck are you
lie.
talking about?
You don't
You
even have a
sit on a
kid,
throne of
you know?
lies.
What? Bizarre. That genre of post, I'm always just like,
Yeah, and well, now I'm trying to think who would actually be writing those essays on LinkedIn, and I think it is Dresden.
you think so?
I think
100%.
if anyone in the book is going to be writing an essay on LinkedIn, although like I think he has too much self-respect to use ChatGPT, but like I do think he's more likely to do
Or maybe
that.
he'd enlist Aiden to like help do it, but then he's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
the one posting and like trying to woo everybody over.
Yeah,
It's like
and
he's
he's
just going to win
like some
support no matter what it
picture of him with,
takes.
like his hair blowing in the wind.
Oh
looking
yeah,
so-
he's
Yeah.
He's thirst
Or-
trapping on LinkedIn.
Or like pensively like writing by candlelight with his hair glimmering, being like,
The leader
I'm so
you
serious.
need.
Like, I'm so deep. I deserve to be your king. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like 3 things I learned murdering a teenager.
Yeah.
But I'm still a good
Actionable
person.
insights. Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of actionable insights, do you have a favorite character to write in
Ooh.
this series?
So yeah, I have a couple favorite characters to write. Obviously Kenna, because she's a heroine. Like she's
She's
my
our main
lady.
bitch.
I really like writing Justin, and I really like writing Callan.
Yeah.
And then I really like writing Laura. I feel like those are the ones
Yeah.
that are really fun. And then actually like Imogen from Illusion House was really fun to write as well. And you'll see some more of her in book 3. So yeah,
Nice.
I
Okay.
like the characters that are kind of complicated, and I like the ones that can be a little funny, because it's not a very funny book, or it's not a very funny world. And so I feel like characters like Dresden and Lara and Imogen can bring little glimmers of humor in there, where like Callan never will. Like Callan is just like a sad, wet cat the whole time. But
Oh,
Yeah.
he's cold
Like a
and
hot-
shivering.
a
He's cold
shivering-
and
A hot,
shivering.
sad, wet cat.
But he's hot.
Yeah.
We can confirm.
yeah, and so he's
Yeah.
fun to write because he's hot and he murders a lot of things, and it's like
Yeah.
such, still waters run deep. I don't know, so I like him as well.
He's dark and brooding
anyone
and
more-
misunderstood, you know?
Is anyone more challenging to write?
I will say in Princess of Blood, Anya was the hardest to write.
Okay.
Just because her storyline was so rough that you're like,
Yeah.
like this is depressing, and like you want to do right by it, and so it just like it took a lot of work. Actually, I like writing Torin and Rowena actually because they're so horrible.
They are so horrible.
But like the brothel scene was pretty rough. Writing that, I was like,
Oh.
God.
Mm.
And I know I'm doing this. I know all of this is an active choice I'm making where you're like, wow, what a bummer. Like, these characters are terrible. This scene is awful. Like, who came up with this? This is sad.
Oops, it was me.
Oops, it was
Oh,
me.
and then how
on
you
this.
ended it too, tying it back to the metal shoes. I was like,
Oh boy, yeah, you were so mean.
I know, it was really mean.
Yeah,
it was like
so mean.
keeping
I was
me
like,
up at night thinking about it. I'm like, you gotta go
Yeah.
sleep. You gotta go sleep, girl.
We always talk about id list stuff. And so that's, stuff that makes your brain super happy, that you're excited to write, macro or micro level.
Yes.
What were some things that you put in, and it could be like Servant of Earth and also Princess of Blood, but like, what were some things in the series that just like big or small that you're like, oh, this is lighting up my brain. I can't wait to write about this.
Yes. I love a man wearing black with a lot of pain, a lot of man pain.
Yeah.
Like that is just a character type, like the traumatized man who's committing atrocities because he's so traumatized is like a character I appreciate in fiction. I will say, well, especially in Servant of Earth, and like if you look at all of my like books that did not get published or things, there's always a lot of like baths. I really love a bath. I love bubble bath.
Oh, good.
You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. So Kenna takes like a fair amount of baths in this series. And then like she'll take more baths in the next one.
Perfect.
I just love
You heard it here
Maybe
first.
she'll have some
That's so
company for baths.
And then the other thing another id thing, like I love tunnels. I love secret tunnels, and I love skulking around in secret tunnels. And that's obviously a very big part of this series. And I'm trying to think what else. Cheddar cheese. I love cheddar cheese. So they eat that together. I love a lot of wine and cheese eating. I'm trying to think. Like, I definitely do self-indulgent things sometimes. Like, not in this series, but like A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. I absolutely 100% think that sweater vests are deeply, deeply attractive.
100%.
And so I wrote a hero in a sweater vest, and that was just for me because I need everyone to jump on this train with me.
Yeah, that's
and you're
how I feel
valid.
Yeah, you are so valid.
I made a friend.
I totally agree.
The first day we met, we were talking about things we found attractive, and I was like, I just find sweater vests deeply erotic, and she was like, "This weirdo is going to be my friend."
I choose you.
I choose you.
I don't know, it's like the buttoned up thing. So no one wears a sweater vest in Servant of Earth, but like if I could get away with it, someone would have.
That's so valid.
You get your editor's notes back, and they're like, "She needs to be in a bath, and we need a sweater vest."
He's like either while he's wearing a sweater vest. You know,
I mean, book 3 title: Vest of Sweater.
Vest of Sweater. It's perfect.
Vest of Misfit.
It could happen.
No, I'm trying to think.
Spoilers.
I'm not sure any of the characters. I think they all feel like they have too much dignity to wear a sweater vest. I feel like Aiden has a good sweater vest in his closet.
I feel like Aiden could pull it off and have the confidence.
Yeah,
like a fantasy sweater vest,
and make it a little slutty too. You
know,
slutty.
Nice
like
deep
a deep V.
A little slutty sweater vest.
Yeah, we're all on board with that.
You're like, new chapter rewrite. Here's just a whole chapter of just
email your editor, be like, we got some. Hold up.
We need a
last minute edition.
It came to me in a vision. I was on this podcast. Miss Day needs sweaters.
Yeah, like Mars needs moms.
Oh, I did also want to say, I could really like, especially with Kaido, the dagger, and then also like you were talking about like sort of the catacombs and like underground tunnels. I could definitely tell that like you have been to archaeology school, and like just how you write about particularly Kaido about how like an object like informs culture, it informs history and like social relationships. And the dagger tells the story of the lost house, right? Like of Bloodhouse, and how battles were fought, who those people were. So I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, Kenna's whole bog collecting thing was an homage to the archaeology background.
Yeah.
Because actually, like, I'm really fascinated by history and how objects tell history and how we interact with the world and with the things around us and signify identity through all of that. And that's something I actually really want to explore in more fantasy worlds, is like, what stories are the characters telling themselves about the past?
Mhm.
And so that ends up being actually a huge theme of the series overall. It's going to come out even more in the next book. Is about like, is what the Fae tell themselves about the past even true? How much of this is
I love that.
So cool.
yeah, where it's like it's like the humans' idea of the Fae is, you know, a lie. It's religion. It's not based in what the Fae are actually like, or it's distorted views of it. But then the Fae also have a distorted view of their own past and
Yeah.
all of that. And then like I love describing it. I also love describing a dress. That's another id thing. I remember loving reading fantasy novels, and I'm like, tell me what the dress looks like. Tell me what the dress looks like. And so
You had some good dresses in this book.
yeah,
In
so dresses,
particular,
and then they all have pockets. That's also
I love that.
I don't know if I
Incredible.
noticed that they all have pockets, but talking about Kaido in the dress, when Kaido forms around her neck and down her back to be just like
In that
stunning,
dress with
but also
with, like,
just
the
like
V.
a weapon. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, that's why there's the snake on the cover is like the necklace.
Yes, I love it.
We love a snake necklace.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, I do have to say, sometimes in fantasy books, and I love romantasy and fantasy. I even read fantasy before romantasy, and I found romance books. Sometimes it just takes a little bit. Like you might need to be dedicated to really let yourself get into the story, and the descriptions, there might be a lot going on. Like you did this so flawlessly. Like I was right there with her in this cool bog. I wanted to know like what's in the box. What is she going to fish with? I could just see her on the edge of their town in the hut with the mom, ostracized from the community. I was immediately invested, and you did it so flawlessly that I didn't feel like I was having to get invested. Because sometimes when you start a new book, right, you're learning all the new things. Like it was just so lovely. I just was immediately in the bog.
You did a really good job with the exposition and like the balance
Yeah.
of that and like the world building.
Because I think in fantasy in particular, that's hard, right? Because there's a lot more to convey. Everything is new to us. Where if you're dropping us in the middle of Los Angeles, we all have a point of reference for what Los Angeles is, or to some extent. Where in fantasy, everything is new, and how do you walk that balance? And
yeah, I think it's a hard thing to do writing, and I know I have to workshop it quite a lot and go back and forth because you don't want to do the info dumps. Like you want to bring the reader with you. And it's easier when you have a character like Kenna, who is an outsider to the world of the book, because she's going to learn things and you learn them. But you also have to resist the temptation to just explain everything up front and figure out like different pieces of information can be dropped at different moments. And I did look back at my old Servant of Earth outline, and there were definite things where I was like, this is, and it was like I was alternating. I was like, we're having a Drustin scene here, and we're having a Callan scene here. And then I was like, this is the crucial piece of information about the world we're learning at these different points. And then I did not outline in Princess of Blood, and it was a very miserable experience.
you made it.
But
you
it was
made
still
it bloody and bruised.
You did it.
But then that was hard too, because it's like you're the second book in a series who theoretically hope that readers remember what happened in the first book, but you still need to provide enough of a refresher that they're like,
right,
that guy again? Oh yeah, that's who that guy is. So I found that to be a different sort of challenge than writing standalones, because you're like, how do I remind you of who these people are and the things that happened without going
too far and overwhelming you. Of
Right.
like, I know this
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, that's really interesting.
My next question is going to be, what did this book teach you, or writing this new series teach you? And unless you have any other takeaways, but like we just kind of really talked about the info dumping and stuff.
me?
So
and outlining.
and outlining. Just a little thing.
I feel like every book teaches you, because you theoretically hopefully get a little bit better. I will say Princess of Blood was the most difficult book I've ever written, and I do think that taught me something, because there were times when I was writing it where I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to have a book at the end of this. This is, I don't know where I'm going. I'm so lost in the weeds, I can't see my way out. And knowing that I found my way out is actually very encouraging, because, and like, I love this book now. Like I absolutely adore this book now. But there were months where I was just like, this is misery. I had to cut so much of it because I wrote myself way off into a direction it did not need to go in. I had to cut characters and plot lines. I had to do a massive cut on the prose to try and like bring it back to a reasonable size. And so just the being able to come up with a product at the end of it where you're like, I am proud of this. I feel like it's a good story. And I was able to do this from the depths of despair. Like, I think that's a really important lesson, because some books have just been easy, you know, and no book is like easy, but like some of them just flow out of you. So like Servant of Earth,
A little easier.
flew out. And like the third book was much more like Servant of Earth, not as fast, but it was definitely way easier. And then like I've had a rom-com that was difficult, but like I found my way out because I feel like Princess is the proof that I can. And then now I've outlined the sticky notes on the door. I outlined a new project.
Oh my gosh, break some more. You outlined and sticky notes?
I know. So we're going to see how that goes. But yeah, so it's almost like you learn what went wrong so that you can try not to repeat it. And I think one thing I definitely need to do is to maintain the pace I'm publishing at, I need to have a framework up front instead of discovering the plot as I go. Like I'm always going to do that to some extent. I'm always going to be a bit of a pantser, but I think I need to start from a place that's a little bit more organized.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about figuring out like the framework style that works for you too. Like I know we did an episode where we talked about the book Story Genius and just kind of in general talking about like there's so many books about writing craft and it can be really intimidating to be like, well, I've got to outline it like this.
Heck of them.
As she pulls, for those of you listening, she pulled 5 books from her desk.
Writes a novel, it's over there.
Yeah. And you kind of have to get through and like part of it is just going through and figuring out like what works for you. Like how does your brain work so that you're not like, I know that some of the more pantsers among us, if they outline too deeply, they kind of lose the excitement and the invigoration of like, what's this cool thing that I might discover while I'm writing? Do you find that does that happen to you if you plot too much, or does it just feel more freeing to kind of just write as you go? Or like how is your process, like learning about your process changed as you've written?
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever be a very detailed outliner, scene by scene kind of person. I do have to discover some of it on the way. I've noticed the times that I have outlined something, I've definitely veer away from it towards the end. So like even Servant of Earth, like the stuff that I thought was going to happen is changed toward like the first half was pretty much like, yeah, this is the stuff that's happening. And then it's inevitably the story is going to change depending on what it feels like the characters would actually be doing. Because I do feel like it's more, even though these are very plot driven books, like a lot of plot stuff happens, I do want the characters to feel internally consistent. And sometimes they're just like, it feels like they would do a certain thing in a scene. And so I'm going to make them do that thing, even if I don't really have an idea of what happens after that. So yeah, I think it's going to be about finding a balance. What seems to be working-ish right now is instead of doing a beat by beat outline, telling the story, like the story of the story. So I do a synopsis and I kind of talk about everything that's going to happen.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And instead of feeling like that rigidness. And then also just like the sticky notes have helped me a lot. I'm very visual. And so when it's just bullet points on a page, I'm like, I don't understand what the structure looks like. But if it's sticky notes and I'm like, oh, like there's always one sticky note that says just sex in all caps, you know, like when I'm like, oh, like the sex sticky note is like visually in the wrong spot. Or I'm like, oh, this thing I thought I was halfway through. And actually this thing I thought was halfway through is 2/3 of the way through. Like, and so things like that where I'm like, how do I work with being a very visual person and someone who likes to sort of be surprised by what I'm writing? I think it's just like adding more framework, but not too much.
Oh, that's really interesting. I appreciate that.
Yeah. We've got some tabs. Amber and I have some tabs.
I mean, you can't take the academic out of the girl in higher education, you know?
That's right.
Like,
yes. There was this line that I just felt like was super resonant for our moment right now. And it's in chapter 12.
Okay.
Page 147 to be specific. And Kenna is welcoming other people into Bloodhouse. And she says, it was getting a little easier to hope, though, mainly because I'd stopped thinking of it as a wish and started thinking of it as an action. Hope wasn't just believing that the world could be good and beautiful and kind. It was knowing the world was awful and likely always would be and trying to fix it anyway. And I loved that.
Thank you. I love that.
That was
line.
so beautiful.
And I feel like Ken and Callan both exemplify that. The thing I really like about their characters is that they are defeated and frequently have been, but they don't stop fighting. Callan has some other line that, where is it? I'm trying to find it now.
I did this one. Oh my gosh. I wonder if it is. That's on page 393.
It's probably that one.
Sometimes we have to pick the least awful of 2 bad choices, he said quietly. I nodded, letting the words sink in. It wasn't absolution because no one could offer that, but it was perspective.
Yeah, that actually that is the page, but that was not the line I was thinking.
Okay, that was one I highlighted.
That's so funny.
Yeah, my thesis statement, I feel like, for this whole series is the history ate itself like a snake swallowing its own tail as the Fae continued their unending battle for power, but that didn't mean we should give up. even if our victories had a steep price, even if we lost.
Yeah, it's like
So
just
the
above that.
cyclical nature of history is like such a big thing in this book, and Kenna being like, can you actually break the cycle of history? Like, can you, Daenerys, can you break the wheel, or do you become part of this system? And I don't think it's something with an easy answer. I think the Fae will continue these unending power games forever, no matter what happens. But like, what change can you actually enact? And it turns out there's actually a lot of change she can enact. Like, she is not changing their whole political system at this moment in time, but she's creating a shelter for people who need it. And just sort of like having even small victories. And then that whole thing about like, even if we lose, like this book ends with them losing. And the thesis statement is like, sometimes that will happen. Is it Picard says something, doesn't he? Where
it's possible to commit no mistakes until lose and still lose. Yes! That is not failure. Yes. That's life. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
That is, I love having smart, brilliant friends.
Oh my God. Learn it, ladies.
I feel like that's something too that speaks to like when you are someone that loves history and knows history, and you understand that like on one hand you have this idea that like humans have always fundamentally been humans. Every human at every point in history has thought, I live right now, because to them they do. We live at the peak of all knowledge, and we lack the ability to look back and contextualize because we're in the present moment. So there's that of like human nature. We're always going to be petty, selfish, desperate assholes, and we're always going to be good to each other. Like that's foundational to humanity. We're always going to like art. We're always going to tell stories. We're always going to decorate things. We're always going to, like this myth of looking back in history and being like, oh, it was just like vicious and violent. And it's like, yeah, and we also have like femurs that broke and were repaired like millennia ago. You know what I mean? That like
people were taking care of each other.
We took care of this person. They had value to our community. We didn't just throw them out. Like they were useful to us. We loved them. But I think like the more like approaching this as like a historian and understanding like on one hand you have human nature, there will always be, it will always eat itself, but also like it's eating itself in motion. Like it's a spiral. Like we do have progression. Things do come around. Things do repeat, but it is in motion. And I think that's interesting to see like in a sense of history and perspective and like balancing out the sort of like, if you look at something two-dimensionally, it is very fatalistic. It is only that one more time around, but gaining that perspective of history. And so I think that really excites me to hear that you're going to delve deeper into that of like, how do we reconcile our own history? Do we look back and judge our own history? Do we try to recontextualize it and say, oh no, it wasn't that, it was actually this? That really intrigues me because that's such a human thing, even though, you're not entirely writing about humans, but I think it's such a
easier to
sentient being thing.
I find it's easier for me to grapple with these questions through the lens of fantasy, because like this is a world in which people can solve their problems with swords. Like I do not live in a world in which I can or should solve my problems with a sword. And so, but it's sort of a lens to grapple with questions of power and legacy and hope, and sometimes like the nihilism, like what's the point of it all? Like if the bad guys are always going to win.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like I loved your little I want to like go to a class you teach where we just talk about
I know, right?
humanity.
I love to rant. I love ranting.
Yes. Classes in session.
I love ranting
teachers
and
talking
and quoting Captain Picard.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I love that.
That's
and
what
then
makes
the other
fantasy is so fun.
Yeah. The other quote I like, it's not Picard, but I don't even know where it comes from. Like the perfect is the enemy of the good. I also think is one that I think about, where it's like expecting a perfect and amazing immediate solution to a lot of these problems, when it's like, no, like a lot of the solution is a long grind of like, iterative progress, trying the same things over and over, but then hopefully doing it a little bit better each time, and maybe you regress, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's a complicated problem. It's going to be a complicated solution, right? And nothing's going to be perfect.
And it took you a millennia to get here, which is like what I tell my physical therapist. Like, hey, it took me a long time to get here. It's not going to get fixed in 2 sessions, bro.
I mean, that's true.
So. That's why this study cast, we've gone like so deep into philosophy,
I know. That's
what we do. We can do both. We can
be
have
both,
sex in our books,
both.
and we can also think philosophically about, the world and the horrors that persist.
Yeah.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
I just love like smut and the horrors that persist. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can like both. I don't know.
We should put that on merch. I like that.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Yeah, we are still here. Absolutely.
Before we hop into the next question, I just want to share 2 quick small little quotes. So one is on page 6.
Okay. I love this. I always want to know
Oriana.
when people tab it. I'm like, what have you tabbed?
Book club.
Yeah.
yes,
So
we're tabs.
I have so many feels about her, about just like the neutrality of not making a choice is making a choice and standing on the sidelines. And so I think you did such a good job in the second book, really delving into that. Some of the people leaving the house, but the confrontation with her and Kenna, in one line in particular, where she leaves her and they're having this fight where she goes, "And you, Oriana, the coward, will sit in your house and do nothing. That's how history will remember you too." And I was like, Mike,
Get wrecked.
drop.
Yeah.
So that really stuck out to me, and I loved that line. I was like, yeah, like you need to do something, like just in the sake of like it's tradition.
I love that fight because I don't think Oriana is entirely wrong, and that's what I want in most of these characters is that they shouldn't be entirely wrong, except for the villains. Like obviously Torrin and Rowena are not correct, but someone like Oriana,
No,
where you're
they're
like,
not.
she's making some good points, and like Kenna is young, she is idealistic, and she's like, a new king is not going to fix everything. And the problem is that Oriana is like, well, because it's not going to fix everything, that we should just let it be. And Kenna's like, well, like, shouldn't we try it out? Like, I don't know.
Do something.
Do something, right?
And so I liked having them argue because I do think Kenna's naive, and I think that you really see that at the end of the book. She believes in honor and playing by the rules, and that doesn't go super well.
The Fae do not.
It does not.
No, the Fae do not.
And the other one is on page 170. This is just for like the trope that we all love and talking about like the dark, broody, sad trauma man, but he's going to come and fight the swords and fight everyone. Callan's bloodstained fingers stroked my cheek. I will always kill for you. And I was like, take me away.
Yes, please kill for me.
You know what's so funny is that my parents think that line is hysterical.
Oh, do they really?
And so now they quote it constantly.
Oh.
And so like my mom.
Is it like, are you coming to Thanksgiving? P.S.
I'll always kill for you.
Most recently, my mom was telling a story. Like my dad was like, "Oh, what is that?" And it was like it was a yellow jacket was in the house, and so she killed it and like showed him the fly swatter with the yellow jacket, and was like, "I will always kill."
Oh my god, that is
Oh
amazing, Sarah.
Amazing.
And also that your parents are like
incredible.
Just
that's
giving
adorable.
you so much shit.
But like they think it's just hysterical because for us as romantasy readers, we're like, yes, like it's the touch her and die moment. Like, yes, I live for this. And they're like, that's what a declaration of love.
That's something.
That's so something. True. That's so true. We're like, we love that. And I could absolutely see though how that would be so weird and like kind of like so dramatic that it's corny, Yeah. And you're just like, that's embarrassing, But we love it. But we love it, to be clear.
I love it. And I also feel like you could do a rom-com that's like a contemporary where the hero tries to woo a lover of romantic fantasy by like following the romantic fantasy. Like you could totally use the
and then
the
she discovers in real life it doesn't
and then the
hit
heroine's
quite
like,
as well.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh my God, please. You're like, you don't need to bring a sword. It's really okay.
Yeah, it's really okay.
Is it fiction only,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Then he's like, this is my murder sweater vest. Just like, no. But yes.
No, I just want to like,
no.
Yeah. It's like I just want someone to like cuddle with on the couch. Like you wear a sweater vest, let's eat some popcorn together. Like and like no one kills anything. Like that sounds like a good date night to me.
That's lovely. And that's not that much to ask for. So
it's really
eligible
not.
people out in the world. Yeah. This is how you
Marie,
woo Sarah.
It's like that
Take notes.
Marie, it's like that Ninja Sex Party song that you put on our Smut You Tuesday playlist.
The first date?
First date, yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard that song?
No.
You should, Sarah.
It's great. Yeah.
What is it?
It's like increasingly unhinged.
Maybe send it
first
to me
date.
afterwards.
You hinted a little bit earlier what you've got coming up, but what are you working on now? Or what can you tell us that you're working on now?
Yes. I have a few projects. So one of them is the third book in the trilogy, which will be out.
Thank God.
So that'll be edits. And
Thank
then
goodness.
I do have another rom-com coming, and that one should be early 2027. And then I have a secret project I can't really tell you anything about, but it's a secret. And it's a project.
I love
Ooh.
secret.
Okay. Wow.
Project of Secrets.
It is a
Project
secret
of Secret.
project. Okay.
There's an of in the title
Yeah,
of the
so
title.
Maybe.
So I'm hoping I'll get to announce that at some point, but I need my publisher to sign off on the idea, which I'm hoping they will.
Okay.
But if
I'm
they
excited.
don't,
Ooh, well,
another
good vibes.
We're
Yep.
sending the vibes.
fingers.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And is the next rom-com coming out? That's going to be not in Glimmer Falls world,
No,
right?
yeah,
It's
no,
its
it's
own
a
thing.
brand new thing. Yeah,
Okay.
Cool.
yeah. And this one's going to be actually
Awesome.
like contemporary world, which I found actually quite difficult because I had to,
Interesting.
even though there's still magic, but I had to things like, how do they afford rent? You know, and it's like, they don't.
Great question.
God, and like it has to do with like there's like a nefarious like anyway, I won't tell you too much, but like I just had to research a lot of things that were actual real life things and like
You couldn't
actual
just make
real
it
life
up.
things that like responsible adults might know about, but like because I do not own a house, like I will never know. Yeah. I'm like, why am I writing about like these homeowners? And so like that was the least believable thing about Glimmer Falls, honestly, is that like Mariel, any of them have a house. Like it's like
Right.
nonsense. And so now because
And
this is-
beautiful houses.
yeah, and like because this is the real world, and so like the heroine of this one like lives in a barn in her parents' backyard. I was like, because that's realistic.
In this economy, it is.
It
Yeah.
sure is. We talked a little bit about earlier, you know, in the episode about your writing journey and kind of some of the things that like you've learned. Do you have any like lingering advice that like you wish that you knew that you would give to aspiring authors or people that are, you know, starting out on their writing journey?
Yeah. Honestly, I do feel like just persistence and resilience is probably the most important aspect. You just have to be willing to keep writing. But at the same point, another thing is that you have to be willing to not compromise your vision, but you have to be willing to take notes. I think one of the thing I see most often in fantasy writers is that they are absolutely attached to their word count. And they'll say, I cannot tell this story any shorter. It has to be 200,000 words. And I'm like, it will not be published.
No.
They don't,
Right,
they're like,
yeah.
but it's happened before. And I'm like, it will not happen. Like, not, like, maybe
Not-
lightning will strike. And that's the thing. People cling to the maybe lightning will strike. Maybe it'll be a Jonathan Strange
Right.
and Mr.
Mhm.
Norrell. Maybe it'll happen. And it's like,
But
the
do you want to put all
reality is
your
that, like,
hopes?
a lot of this, like a lot of agents, it's an auto rejection if you're not within word count limits. And that's because like paper is expensive. That's a thing I didn't realize when I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a
oh,
cost
vision.
thing, literally.
Yeah. And so they're like,
Yeah.
that's why they like it to be under 100,000 words if you can, because paper's
Mhm.
expensive. And so hearing things like that, it's like, even if you think that you can't possibly cut a single ounce of fat from this, like you are wrong. You might
Yeah.
have to cut an entire subplot. I cut 25,000 words from Princess of Blood.
Dang.
That's a
You know, and like
chunk.
That's
a lot of, and
chunky.
one of, there was a subplot that had to go, and it was like, what do we care about most? What subplots most need to be here, and which ones can we postpone to later books? And that actually had a cascading effect and changed some of the plot of book 3 because I didn't have the ramp leading into it anymore. And then a lot of it was just prose, and so it's this element like you have to persist, you have to believe in yourself, you have to keep going. But because writing does end up being a collaborative process, and you are producing, like you do also have to listen to some of the outside voices.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
No,
That's really good advice.
It is helpful,
that's great
though.
No,
advice.
that's incredibly helpful. Yeah.
I think too, not only this advice, but earlier when you talked about the process for the series and that you had to like change things, I think there's this idealistic view that you sit down at a computer and you write a whole book, or it mostly is the same, and you're just doing maybe some line edits or just some like editorial choices. But like there's a lot that goes on, and you really may need to rearrange and cut like a behind the scenes. It isn't just a linear, you get it right the first time.
Yeah.
So not only persevering when it struggles, but also when you receive that criticism, like I try to view criticism even outside of like creative endeavors. It's harder creatively because we're vulnerable, but it's a gift. Someone cared enough to look at something and to give you something to help you, you know?
Mhm.
So trying to shift that perspective of, you know, some may be good. You don't always have to listen to all of it, like you said, but
And I think a lot of it is learning what to take and what not to take. So I've noticed sometimes I'll get notes and I'm like, well, if someone tries to give me like feedback where they're like, you should do this, you should change it to this, like that's not necessarily helpful because that's basically them telling the story they want to tell. But if I look beneath that note and I'm like, well, clearly something about this subplot is not working the way it is. And so it's like, well, if the note is like, if the romance isn't hitting for them, or if they feel like there's not enough conflict, or they feel like something like there's a core beneath that note. and you don't have to do
Mhm.
exactly as they want you to do, but often you can be like, okay, like targeting.
There's an underlying problem being triggered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
that's really insightful.
Yeah.
And I think that your process starts with like telling yourself the story in the most efficient way. Like you start with your summary and like the most efficient way possible. And like when you get lost in the weeds, and then you kind of come back to that and go like, okay, what was I trying to accomplish here? But
And I
definitely
had
like,
a friend who gives wonderful notes because she's a screenwriter. And so she's the one like I
Mm.
call when I'm trying to re-break my story. And inevitably she's correct in a very annoying way where I'm like, dang it.
Fine.
And so
yeah.
she gave me notes on my synopsis, which was like, I can't tell you because the project is secret, but it was like something that I was being very self-indulgent about, something that I
And you're like-
personally wanted to read about. And she was like, but you're
Mhm.
betraying the fundamental promise of this premise because people picking this up are expecting it to follow certain. I'm being so vague.
But that makes sense. And then you were so
get what you
heartbroken. You're
mean,
like,
yeah.
fine, you're
I was
using
like,
facts and you're right.
yes.
And I hate that you're right.
Mhm.
Correct. Like, yes, this
Yeah.
is not just me being like, tee hee hee, this makes me happy. Like, there's an
Mhm.
element of like, you do have to fit. And
Expectation for your audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I think this character needs more of like a motivation, like an emotional motivation. I'm like,
Mhm.
fine.
If you say so.
Guess you're right.
And then you figure it out, and then you're like, oh, actually, that's great.
Thank you for being my friend and still coming around.
Yeah, but she isn't like, you should do this. She's like, I think you need a more emotional motivation. Like,
Mm.
maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something this person is fighting for. Maybe it's this. And I did something similar but different that was more my idea. And then she was like,
Mm.
so, yeah.
Oh, that's what an incredible writing bud to have. That's
I
so
know.
Yeah, seriously.
She's
taking
brilliant.
feedback is a skill, but giving feedback is also
Yeah.
a skill, especially like as creative people. Like you'll read something and you'll be like, "Ooh, could it have a squirrel? Could I put would you put a squirrel in it?" And you're like, "No,
Is this a note
No.
you've gotten?
no,
I think, can I give it to you now? Like, add a score.
yes, okay."
You'll write that
Yeah.
down.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, right
Add
now.
more.
Vera and Talia need to come across a squirrel.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No promises.
Yeah, okay.
There is a hot tub scene.
Is there a squirrel in the hot tub?
Maybe.
Falls out of the tree.
I'm still editing. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, more squirrel. But even just like that's a really good note for like giving good actionable feedback. Is it's less about how to fix it as the feedback giver, and more
Yeah.
about like, I'm not understanding why they want what they want, or you're telling me that they're this character trait, but I'm not really seeing that, or whatever. Like, yeah, that's great that you have that.
She's great.
That
And
person.
it's Scrub is like, I mean, I try to take feedback well, but I've definitely gotten
Yeah.
better at it over the years, but I do have that immediate need.
It's
for, like,
tough.
no, you're wrong. Like, this
Yeah.
This is my baby and she's perfect.
Don't understand my vision.
Don't understand it.
I'm
And
an
sometimes it's
artiste.
reasons. Usually they're right in some way. And so, especially when I get notes
Yeah.
back on a book, I'll often just sit with it for a day and just stew and be like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to look at it, and then I'll gradually start peeking at it again, and until it stops hurting so much to look at, and then I'm like, oh, they were right. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
so
think
funny.
it's getting the distance from like the baggage of creation, right? Like, and that's really what it is, right? Like, because I think when you zoom out, you're like, no, I want this to be the best that it can be. For me personally, I was like, if you didn't tell me like, Allie, this fucking sucks, like you got to get this shit together, I would. If you didn't tell me that and you just placated me and you're like, oh my god, like this was so great, I would be mortified. Like I would be so mortified. I'd be like, please fix it. Please tell me it's bad. But it's also hard too, because you have the pain points that you went through, like with the book, and those feel very fresh. And so that connects, I think, worth and validation and like effort to end result. You got to take a step back and as you said, peel the curtain back slowly and accept the feedback.
Yeah. But then also, like, not all feedback is good feedback.
Very true.
There's one reason authors like kind of can't look at the reviews, other than the fact they're really hurtful. I'm too delicate for this. But one is that everyone's going to disagree. You have people who are like, the pace was too slow. The pace was too fast. Like, it was too slow of a burn. It wasn't slow enough. Like, I don't know why this character made this choice. Why didn't they make this other choice? And the thing is, like, and so I think a lot of people, if they're like tagging, which like, don't tag authors in negative reviews.
Yeah,
a lot of
please
them,
don't.
I'm helping them learn. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, you are just one person with one opinion. And like, I think there's a lot. Editing is important, and those voices are important. And a lot of that is happening like from professionals and people in the process. So yeah, it's like, there's an element also of tuning out the noise, because that can be a lot of pressure. And I know it got harder to write after I already had a book come out because I kept thinking about what people might say. Or you're aware, or you're like I'm doing this thing again, and I know that people don't like it, but I'm doing it anyway. You just become much, much more aware and start drafting from the perspective of like, what are they going to say? And that's just not a place where creativity happens. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just, so much of this just feels like a tightrope that you just have to figure out how to walk it. And every author does, and you'll learn incrementally and painfully, but
Yeah.
You'll build up the calluses, but it'll be
Yeah,
painful
that's
along the
right.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sarah, you have been delightful. This has been
Oh,
such a
that's
fun
so fun.
conversation. Like, you know, if you ever want to hang, let me know.
Let us know. Come back anytime.
Where can we find you, your books, and like your social media? We'd love to know where we could find you.
Yes. Okay. So my website is sarahhawleyauthor.com, and I have a newsletter sign up there. I forget I have a newsletter most of the time, so you can expect it like 3 times a year. And then my social media, I'm mostly on Instagram at Sarah Hawley Author. I do technically have a TikTok account, also Sarah Hawley Author, but I am not naturally gifted at TikTok. And then I think I've got like basically a placeholder like Threads and Blue Sky, kind of same deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but if you want to like,
Awesome.
the thing I update the most is Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and we'll link all of your stuff like in the show notes below, so everybody can check out your books and get Princess of Blood, like the ending. Next fall is not happening soon enough, I will say. But thank you so much for talking to us, and this was so fun.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was so good.
That was so fun.
We
Yeah,
are.
she's
awesome.
lovely.
She's
I
so
wanna hang out with
lovely.
her.
She's so lovely.
On to our happy endings, because we think everybody deserves a happy ending. What the hell are we looking forward to, ladies?
Happy ending that
Tell me.
Yeah.
it's on the top of my mind. So I am just so appreciative of all types of trade people, or like we call them at my house, tradies, because that's what they call them on Bluey. And when isn't that cute? It's a really cute episode. So Lachlan's always like, "Are the tradies here?" It's really cute. But when it rains, it pours. So our dishwasher pump went out. I'm old and have tennis elbow that flared up out of nowhere. I don't know how I got it. It's basically been here since Patrick left. And we live on a wooded lot. Like there are a ton of leaves. And I'm like, I can't blow them right now with my little elbow. And then I also realized I have no plans for Christmas lights on the outside of the house, and Lachlan is obsessed with Christmas lights. So anyways, this is a long way of saying I had to get my shit together, come up with a plan. I was real nervous. I wasn't going to get in time because some of these services, schedule far out, but everything went well and all happened this week. Lights went up, the leaves got blown, and I had a lovely young man from Centerpoint come and replace the dishwasher pump. One cute little story, when they came to put the Christmas tree lights up, it was like 3 or 4. So when we came home from daycare, Lachlan hadn't seen them and I didn't tell him they went up. And when we pulled in the driveway, he started clapping and he went, "Mama, thank you." And I was like, it was so cute. It was so cute. So I personally did nothing, but I successfully outsourced at the last minute.
So you didn't do nothing because you had to do a lot of executive functioning to figure your shit out and coordinate and plan for all of that. So
that's
you
true.
did stuff.
That's true.
That
and
mental
also,
labor is real. And I think that a lot of people forget that.
It is. And I felt it. But yeah, so big success for me, the mental load and the labor and getting it done. And then just the tradies, because, everyone deserves to be seen and appreciated. And they saved the day this week for me.
Love that.
I love that too.
That's so cute.
Happy ending.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. I was like, oh my God, hold it together.
Adorable. Do you do journaling with him? Do you journal down like things like this?
No, but I should.
You know what? Somebody recommended, and this was way later than when kiddo was of an age to do this, but just make a Gmail address for him. Okay. And then anytime you get a cute memory like that, send him an email. Send the account an email. Aww. And then you'll have this like super easy, like
electronic version. I love that. I'm definitely going to do that.
Because then it's like you always have your phone with you. Email. Even if it's just like when he clapped and said, "Thank you, Mama," because of the Christmas lights, and it's dated for you already. It's all going to be in one place.
This is brilliant.
That's a really smart idea.
I wish I had started doing that earlier. I started saving stuff from kiddo in my notes app. And so I have like 4th grade, but like it's very intermittent. Didn't do a ton of it. But if I had done that when he was younger, that I would like make it so easy to record it all.
And fun for you too. You could go back and be like,
Yes.
when he was little.
Yeah,
Thank you for
definitely.
sharing that. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. I think my happy ending for this week, or what I'm just grateful for, is just like community. Just community and having good people around, people that you can sort of temperature gut check things with and get good information and resources.
No, that's awesome. My gratitude is similar to yours, is like community, but I think more specifically like Smut You. I'm really grateful for. This podcast has been a labor of love, but like really fun. We've got an amazing author episodes like coming up, and we are scheduling other things, and I just feel like this wouldn't exist if I didn't join Smut You. And like I tell Sam all the
100%.
time, like there are so many things that I'm like, this is because of Smut You, you know, and it's just such a wonderful group of people. And like, obviously, yes, it's a writing group, but it's a lot more than that. And I'm just really grateful for Sam for making a space to like bring really cool people together and foster creativity and have fun and connect, because it is a very isolating thing at times, and it's a very special set of skills to like have to support your writer friend, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'm just feeling really grateful for Smut You. And if you want to join, we also have a link down below if that sounds like
Okay.
something that you're missing in your life. So thank you so much to Sarah Hawley for coming on the podcast today. We had such a fun time. Like I felt like during that interview, I just like want to hang out for real, you know? Like it
I
was
know,
Like,
same.
let's
it was
just
real, it was
so
so
cool.
fun.
go
It
to
was so
brunch
great.
and just
Yes. And we are so, so grateful for her time, and her books are fantastic. I'm so excited that she has more like paranormal rom-coms coming, because
yes.
she is so funny. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not yet, please go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really does help us find more of our bookish writerly community. And that's what we're trying to build, is just spreading all of our love for romance and creativity. We can be found on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Smut and Sensibility Pod. We're also on Blue Sky, links down below. Yeah, we have all of our individual socials as well. And drop us a comment if there is an author that you'd love us to maybe talk to, or if there's a craft book that you're interested in. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks again for listening. I've said that 18 times, but stay smutty and go forth in pursuit of your happily ever after. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.